your... maybe we could all mute our mics till we begin. There's still a couple of minutes. Teen SS has to join. So.
वीडियो ऑन रखे मैम?
We should ask the students to join.
Okay.
Yeah, please ask them to join. Shalini, you might just drop in a line with Rashi and Ritvika. And Seema, you with Trupti.
आप जिस व्यक्ति को कॉल कर रही है वह उत्तर नहीं दे रही है, कृपया कुछ...
Good afternoon, Santosh. Mike.
I'm sorry I got a bit late today.
Not at all.
Yeah.
You're doing this every day, twice a day.
Yeah. And it's getting really
phenomenal.
I didn't think that it is going to be like this, but I'm very happy with the kind of support and enthusiastic participation that I received from every school and all colleagues. So that made it special for all of us. So I sorry about that late entry, but I welcome all of you for this round of webinar. And as you are aware of the template of this conversation that we are having, is that we are talking to each other, but this recorded version will be posted at our website. And I'm very happy to report that this is working, because I think even though you don't find many outsiders or students coming and joining in the chat box or posing direct questions, but I see hundreds of people watching these videos later on, and which is what actually idea was essentially to, if not reaching in real time, maybe after once it is uploaded, there are students who are interested would like to visit and at least get to know about what all do we do in these schools, what are the kind of program that we have, and why do we think, like anybody else, that we are the best. So the world is like that. So I thought we should put our best foot, put our best, and try and tell the world outside that this is what we do in terms of our pedagogical practices, in terms of our curriculum. And with this kind of modest ambition and modest expectation that we started this series of webinars, essentially, looking at the aspiring students. Basically, when we are talking to each other, we should always think that we are talking to our students, prospective students, our aspiring students, and the parents maybe who are interested as to what, if somebody is interested in School of Heritage Research Management, they would like to know. Parents also will be interested. What is it? I would like to know. So probably they will see these videos and probably make up their mind. So when you make your presentation, I would request you to please keep that framework in mind, and please do talk about the career opportunities that there are, and how these programs are very related to the world of work in that sense. So that is very important for us. However, before I invite Professor Rukmini Sen to make the presentation, the Dean of the School of Heritage Research Management, who has been my colleague, and I'm feeling very happy about that she's looking after the SHRM so very well. And she has been fantastic because she already nurtured the sociology unit, I think, as one founding member of the sociology unit. I remember Rukmini's contribution is immense. Many people came, left, came back. Rukmini never. Rukmini nurtured that sociology unit always, unadulterated commitment. I'm saying that, and I salute you, Rukmini, for that. And this is reflective in the way you are. And everybody says this. I think everybody where I go, even I met Vice Chancellor Ma'am, and she was mentioning that how Rukmini took over SHRM and how she handled it. So thank you very much. I'm very proud as a colleague, Rukmini, for what you are doing for the university. Having said this, I also like to say, Rukmini, a few things from the Dean Student Service, from the Student Services Division, that students must know that this is a state university. We are part of Delhi government's university, and therefore there is an element of NCT and non-NCT. 85% seats are reserved for the Delhi students and 15% for the non-NCT. And those people, and how do we decide who is Delhi and non-Delhi? Depending on where did you do your last education, last degree, where did you do? So for example, if you're looking for a master's degree in Ambedkar University, and you have done your graduation from any of the colleges of Delhi University, then you become a Delhi wala. Or if you are looking for a BA seat in BA and then you have done your schooling from Delhi, I think that makes you eligible for 85% reservation. That's very, very clear, because sometimes people have confusion about nothing to do with domicile. It's about your schooling or college, in last institution that you attended. That makes you eligible for 85% or 15%. So that is very, very important to us. Also, Ambedkar University Delhi, for example, there are hundreds of Ambedkar University in this country, and there are many such institutions, and therefore sometimes there are a lot of confusion about whether we are a college and whether we are part of Delhi University and that. So in that sense, sometimes I thought that in this webinar, I think when I make these preliminary remarks, I also want to dispel some of the confusion about our status. That's why I said we are a Delhi government university. It's totally 100% funded by the Delhi government. And that is why these 85% seats reserved for Delhi students. That's one. The second part is that there is no confusion. We are a university, and we do not have affiliated colleges with us. No, we have multiple campuses. Like many people will say that your Karampura college. There is no Karampura college. There is no Lodi Road college. There is no Kutub Institutional Area college. There is a university, and it's a unitary idea. And within that there are campuses, multiple campuses. That's so far it has worked very well for us. We are in the transition mode, and we are hoping that our new campuses will be ready very soon. So in that sense, I wanted to clarify on some of these things, Rukmini. And also, when you make your presentation, Rukmini, you are very aware of what all do we do, in the sense that very liberal and generous fee waivers, and especially for people who are coming from the margin of any kind of marginalities. We are extremely sensitive to that understanding about, as a university body, as faculty. We are very committed to that idea of access, and committed to the idea of, or sensitive to the idea of marginality. And therefore, I'm sure this is the only university perhaps, which provides 100% fee waiver from the entry point itself for the students coming from the SC/ST background and the PWD background. No money, no tuition fee required at all, and that's something which shows our commitment to the idea of something that I was telling you. that it is not without reason that we call ourselves Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Delhi. There is a reason behind it. Beyond tokenism and all symbolism, all that, we actually mean it. From the day one, we thought this is the way we are going to go about it. And we are very happy as colleagues that so far we have, and I'm sure we will be able to manage that. This commitment is very important in the public university. That's very important, very central key words for us. So with these preliminary remarks, I would like to welcome once again to the SHRM team and your Dean, Professor Rukmini Sen, to make the presentation and tell us about the various programs and new practices and anything that you think that will help us in getting more enthusiastic participation in our admission. So thank you, Rukmini and the team, and please make your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Santosh Singh, at the moment as Dean Student Services, but of course my dear colleague in Sociology in the School of Liberal Studies and also the Dean of the School of Liberal Studies for that really important introduction that you did about some of the things that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Delhi is doing as a public university of the government of NCT of Delhi. Today we are very happy that from the School of Heritage Research and Management, we are here, all faculty and in fact a few students also, to talk about why SHRM of Ambedkar University, Delhi has to be the most sought after destination for any aspiring student who wants to be a heritage ambassador, a heritage entrepreneur, and a serious heritage scholar in 21st century India. SHRM is the newest school in Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Delhi, and it has joined the university in 2021. We've just had the first SHRM batch, not yet graduated. They have just completed their 4th semester. This year in their convocation, they would get their degree from AUD. Having said that, Delhi Institute of Heritage Research and Management has existed since 1998, and that institute has merged with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Delhi. So we are extremely fortunate to have extremely experienced faculty who are part of DIHRM who have joined SHRM AUD. And also the fact that there is already a set of people out in the world in Archaeological Survey of India, in National Museum, in different other art galleries, like of course the National Gallery of Modern Art, where we have alumni of Delhi Institute of Heritage Research and Management existing, and we at SHRM AUD, we also draw upon the resources. One of the things that we have been able to do in the last 2 years has been to establish networking and linkages with different government institutions in the city of Delhi working around archaeology and conservation and museum and tourism. I would think that that is one of our biggest, strengths, that we have been able to collaborate and network with these government institutions. That's one. And the second is the number of field activities and exposure that we have been able to give to our SHRM students. It wouldn't be, an exaggeration to say that in the last 2 years, we have actually been able to expose our students to different kind of field activities at least about 15 to 20 times. And in, monuments, in basically heritage monuments, in heritage parks, in museums and expos, and in galleries, everything that the 2 programs at SHRM touch upon. I will now hand over the discussion to Dr. Shalini Avasthi, who is the Deputy Dean of the school and also the program coordinator of one of the programs on conservation and preservation and heritage management. She will give us a brief introduction of the entire school. Over to you, Shalini.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll just take a couple of minutes to share my presentation. Is my presentation visible, ma'am?
It is. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. I now introduce the programs at SHRM along with the courses. And as has rightly been said, that we draw on a legacy of DIHRM, which has a legacy of over 2 decades. And at SHRM, we are not only building, but we are trying to enhance that legacy. With these words, I start introducing the programs. Currently, we have one thing more, the School of Heritage Research and Management is located at the 4th campus of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University at 18A Satsang Vihar Marg in Kutub Institutional Area. Currently, we run 2 postgraduate programs, namely Archaeology and Heritage Management, the second being Conservation, Preservation and Heritage Management. These programs are over a period of 2 years and are divided into 4 semesters. Now, as you know, when we talk about archaeology, archaeology is already a field or a discipline which is very well established, where or which is based on exploration, excavation, and discovery, which is studied through archaeological method and theory, supported by scientific studies, and it is refined through textual analysis, epigraphical records, and numismatic studies. On the other hand, when we talk about the second program, that is Conservation, Preservation and Heritage Management, we do have to remember that it is a relatively new discipline which emerged out of all the debates that were going on in about stylistic restoration to come to mean what it stands for today, that is stewardship of the tangible and intangible heritage resources that are around us. And it is this stewardship that we try to take forward through what we call adaptive reuse. However, before any intervention happens for adaptive reuse, it has to be based on comprehensive documentation of the monuments, the landscape, and through preparation of status reports, which then become the basis for scientific conservation strategies. But all these have to be placed within the legislative protective framework, which is there existing globally and nationally for natural, environmental, and manufactured resources. However, as you would have noticed, that both the postgraduate programs come with the suffix of heritage management. Now, when we talk about heritage management, this is an innovative application and a skill-based knowledge that is imparted to the students at SHRM, whereby they are able to present heritage as curated objects in museum through the lab, through acquiring of lab-based skills which they have taken, or which they have been acquired at SHRM, and also through creation of heritage resources. And one of the ways in which the heritage resources is created is through what we call heritage walks. This knowledge dissemination happens through a unique pedagogical structure that we have at SHRM, where the courses are divided into foundational courses, and then we have specialization of courses. The foundational courses are common to both the programs, that is to archaeology students and to conservation students. However, before I go into the structure of the courses, I would like to emphasize here that all courses that we have at SHRM have a deep connect with the Indian heritage. As far as semester 1 is concerned, when we talk about the course on India and the world through the ages, this is a paper which deals with the contextualization of Indian heritage in the global context, while in the course that is the architecture of India, it entails the study of architectural heritage, which is rooted in Indian terminology and theoretical premises. Then there is another paper which is Heritage Tourism and Management, Concepts, Planning and Marketing. Here what we are imparting to the students is the study of the tourism phenomena, the framework within tourism and tourism planning. However, when we say heritage tourism, we are taking this course as a variant to the ordinary tourism courses that are being taught, where in heritage tourism, what we highlight is the need to have education in or through tourism, and also the inclusion of the idea of stewardship in tourism principles that guide the creation of tourism resources. In first semester, the students of archaeology are introduced to its method and theory, while the students of conservation are taught a course which is called Principles, Guidelines and Laws, National and International, which provides them with the platform for all conservation-based practices. As we move on to the second semester, the courses are again listed as Cultural Heritage, Art of India, Heritage Tourism Management, Heritage Tourism and Management, and Public Awareness. Now, the visible aspects, the substantive, and the philosophical aspects of the Indian knowledge, tradition, and practices are imparted through the paper on cultural heritage of India, while art, iconography, painting styles, and painting schools are covered through the course on Art of India. Another aspect of tourism is taught in semester 2, where we look at tourism through the agencies, organization, and the impact of tourism on the hosts and guests. The last paper of semester 2 is a combination where we make the students aware of what is called the media interface to create what is called awareness about heritage tourism and heritage resources, and also to introduce them to the fundamental basis of conservation through conservation of archaeological sites. With the beginning of third semester, we move on to the specialization of the courses. And as far as the specialization of courses is concerned, the economic, history, and cultural impacts are taught through the course that is Trade Routes and Cultural Interaction, while the course on prehistory and human evolution deals with Paleolithic times to the emergence of humans along with their tools and technology. The course on epigraphy and numismatics allows for the study of heritage through inscriptions and coins. When we talk about conservation in the third semester, it is important to note that all strategies for conservation are guided by the material that is used for the construction of the heritage structures and monuments, and the techniques which are used for its construction. And this is an aspect which is covered in the course which is called Architectural Engineering and Technology, Nature and Use of Material. However, any intervention that has to be made as part of conservation can only happen after we have conducted comprehensive surveys, which include inspection, assessing the deterioration, and the preparation of status report, which is one of the papers which is taught in semester 3. A third course that is taught in semester 3 is Heritage Planning, Regulation, Zoning, and Management. This is a course which deals or draws attention of the students to the idea of heritage conservation practices that are used in urban areas, also drawing attention to the fact that a large number of heritage structures and components which are undocumented are falling prey to what we call the advancing urbanization. There is an emphasis on the curation of heritage, emphasis on the curation of heritage, which is provided by a paper which is again common to both the programs. Again, programs meaning archaeology and heritage management, and conservation, preservation, and heritage management. This is the curation aspect starts with heritage, museum, and management, concepts, planning, and marketing. When we move into the fourth semester, there is a natural progression which we find in archaeology, which starts from the study of proto-historic cultures, that is Indus Valley, into the Vedic age, and comes down to historical archaeology, which is reflected in the two courses that are listed. As far as conservation is concerned, we have an emphasis on what we call skill training and lab-based training through the two courses, that is conservation, preservation, and restoration of historic buildings and monuments, and chemical treatment and preservation of paintings and manuscripts, organic and inorganic. There is a continued emphasis on curation of heritage in semester 4 also, again emphasizing the fact that this is a course which is common to both archaeology and conservation through Heritage Museum. But now the focus has shifted to publication, education, research, and management. The takeaway of the 2 years of the study of the students at SHRM is a master's dissertation, which has to be submitted by all students in order to obtain a degree. And this is what we call the cumulative outcome of a blend of knowledge, application, and understanding that the students have acquired through classroom teaching activities at SHRM, skill-based training, and through internships. Now, before I go on to any other thing, I would just like to read out a few dissertation topics which have been covered by the students, and these are just indicative and not a very comprehensive list. Now, as far as archaeology is concerned, the students have worked on public archaeology, a case study of Purana Killa, New Delhi. Another dissertation that has been submitted is on disposal of the dead, a comparative study of burials in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh in northern Himalayas during the Iron Age. While this is just an idea to say what kind of topics are taken up by students in archaeology, as far as conservation is concerned, students have submitted dissertations on conservation of paper manuscripts, another one being collection and conservation management of Khuda Bakhsh Oriental Library, Patna. However, as I emphasized earlier also, that because both our courses have a suffix of heritage management, the dissertation also covers what we call a broad spectrum of heritage studies, and the students have, under this nomenclature, they have also submitted dissertations on case, a study on the vernacular textile of West Bengal, Kannauj, the forgotten city of fragrances, and even on paranormal tourism as a niche tourism in India with a case study on Kuldhara village. All these teaching learning activities at SHRM are sustained by the two foundations of SHRM, that is at the SHRM library and the lab at SHRM. The SHRM library has a collection of over 13,000 books with the subject categories varying from Indian art to architecture, conservation, archaeology, Sanskrit texts, Indian culture, and topographical sheets. We also have over 700 rare books. One of the books which has a date of publication of 1918, and we also have a section on donated books where the number is just above 1,000 books, and we are the recipients of the personal library and book collection of Dr. B.K. Thapar, who was the Director General of Archaeological Survey of India and also the founder member at INTAC. As you can see that we have a conservation laboratory at SHRM, which is a dedicated space for hands-on training for conservation objects, organic and inorganic, which you can see on the left side of the screen, which were conserved in the lab. And the in-house lab training covers, covers the imparting of skills for conserving of archival documents, objects in stone, terracotta, and clay. The teaching learning activities at SHRM which are imparted, they are by a dedicated faculty under the guidance of our Dean, Professor Rukmini Sen, who has a specialization in sociology of law, culture, and law and society, and qualitative research methods. Dr. Ravindra Kumar imparts knowledge on multidisciplinary archaeological studies, while Anand Vardhan has an expertise on museum studies, historic architecture, art, and iconography. And the domain of Dr. Seema Yadav is proto-historic and historic archaeology along with economic history. Dr. R.K. Trivedi, who's also the lab in charge at SHRM, imparts practical hands-on and skill training to the students in conservation and preservation. The concept of heritage studies and media is taught by Dr. Shailendra Kumar Swain, while architectural heritage is covered by Dr. Aman Kumar Singh. The discourse between heritage and history and its interface through heritage tourism and cultural studies is taught by Dr. Shalvi Avasthi. One of the questions which animates the mind of the students even while they are pursuing their masters is what after masters? Now, like I said, the first batch of the students from SHRM has just completed their examination and they are going to graduate. However, based on what we have as a legacy from DIHRM, we can say with a great deal of confidence that the students can go into various fields for placement opportunities such as academia, government jobs, private and corporate sector, and also diversify into entrepreneurship. As far as academia is concerned, the students have qualified for the JRF under archaeology and heritage management, and they are enrolled for PhD. And I will just name a few organizations and institutions where they are enrolled for PhD. That is the Center for Heritage Management at Ahmedabad, at IITs. Some have already completed their PhD, while some are currently pursuing from IIT Kanpur, Guwahati, and Bombay, while others have got faculty positions in the Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture, and Archaeology at the Banaras Hindu University. It is also a proud moment to say that we will soon be introducing a PhD program at AUD on heritage studies under SHRM. The students can also and have got jobs at the Archaeological Survey of India, the Department of Archaeology, as technical restorers at the National Gallery of Modern Art in New Delhi, in the Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts, and as senior restorers at Lalit Kala Academy. Students have also moved into the corporate sector at Oro Bharti under the Aurobindo Society. A lot of our students are engaged with INTAC and also with the Aga Khan Trust. After having acquired the necessary skills, the students also go into what we call becoming heritage entrepreneurs. And two examples that I would like to quote are those of, one is that of Cloud Itineraries and the other is that of Triptych Consultancy. The Cloud Itineraries is developing travel itineraries in India and globally, while Triptych Consultancy is into conservation. Here, the students have designed the National Museum of Customs and GST at Panaji, which is called Dharohar, and they have also done research for Tosha Khana coins in museum at Gobindgarh Fort in Amritsar, amongst other things including painting conservation, etc. I would like to conclude this presentation by saying that through the programs at SHRM and through our students, we aim to disperse and widely so the academic philosophy of SHRM, which are its 4 C's, that is to catalog, to conserve, to curate, and to communicate the importance of heritage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shalini, for giving us that overview on SHRM. Its philosophy and the way in which we have been trying to do a few things. I would now like to ask Dr. Seema Yadav to again give a very brief presentation on a very essential component at SHRM, which is field activities. Field activities is actually a component which is there in all programs of AUD. And SHRM is no different. And given that this field is around archaeology and conservation and museum and tourism, of course, field activities and practicals are very important. I would request Dr. Seema Yadav to please tell us about the different field activities and practicals that we have done at SHRM in the last 2 years.
माइक ऑन करिए मैम। सीमा मैम माइक ऑन
सीमा जी माइक ऑन कीजिए।
ठीक है, सॉरी सर।
सीमा जी माइक ऑन कीजिए।
So, dear colleagues and dear students, greetings of the day. I would like to thank Dr. Rukmani Sen, Professor Rukmani Sen, Dean, under whose guidance we have started some of the activities which is through a holistic perspective. And my colleague Dr. Shalini Masti has given a detailed description about the course and the class pedagogy and courses. But all these things are incomplete without the field visits and learning activities on the site. So here I would like to give a brief account of the activities which is covered or pursued during the last 2 years. Heritage studies is a multidisciplinary and internationally growing field of research studying how the past is used and valued and institutionalized in the present. With this knowledge, the course is incomplete. So SHRM, earlier it was DIHRM, is a pioneer and premier school in the field of heritage studies, and which is now part of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Delhi, as a heritage studies and its management. Field study is an additional learning activity that provides a natural learning environment for students to learn from field observations, and much of the learning use observations, reflections on observations, experiments with the phenomena, and the use of first-hand data and daily experience in the fields. In education, field training opportunity is considered the first work experience certificate for the student right from school level. At university level, it is more important because we are pursuing a professional degree. In the field of archaeology, field training means the practical application of knowledge and theoretical pedagogy that the student receive at the university, so that he has a more significant and broader understanding of his specialization, making him more creative and distinguished than his peer groups, which were studying the courses in different universities through the different parameters. For the archaeology training, the best known method of field investigation are the field surveys, explorations, which reviews large area on the surface, and excavation, which examines a constructed piece of ground by dissecting it on the basis of previous intensive study and library work, and building, understanding the building activities, recordings, and which reduce the history of building that are still standing above the ground and under the ground, because archaeology is the field of digging the past. We organized the field training for our students at the site of world-famous Harappan sites, Rakhigadi in Haryana in January 2023, to learn about the exploration and excavation techniques, and students benefited by the interaction with two of the excavator of the site, Professor V. Shinde and Dr. Sanjay Munjal at the site, who is also presently heading the Institute of Archaeology, Archaeological Survey of India. Students participated for a week at the Purana Kila excavation in Delhi in April 2023 and learned about the pottery, their design, their authenticity, and their dating, their identification, stratigraphy, and the relevance of layers in excavation with the site excavator of the Purana Kila. And students also visited potter's workshop in a potter village to give first-hand experience in the techniques of pottery making, through which they learned the art of pottery making and its importance in the field of archaeology. In the field of training in the conservation and preservation of monuments artifacts, our student visited various sites, because conservation generally protects natural resources, while preservation protects building, objects, and landscapes. In heritage, we preserve and holistically conserve tangible and intangible heritage both. And these visits are for both the group of students, for archaeology and heritage management, and for conservation, preservation and heritage management student. So a facility with specialized equipments to support the treatment or repair of materials through chemical or physical treatment is available in our lab at SHRM. Besides this, SHRM also organized 1 week workshop on the techniques for conserving stones and metal objects, bone and ivory objects, paper and archival conservation, which they learned at Delhi Archives and in-house laboratory. Because Delhi Archive is the building where the presently SHRM is also running the course. So we have both the benefits of the SHRM lab as well as archival lab at Delhi Archives. We also organized a field visit to Sundar Nursery and Humayun II monuments, sites, Qutub complex to understand the relationship and integration of built and natural heritage. Students learned about the conservation problems and solution and examined the challenges and potential for conservation revival for sustainability, development and management of heritage in urban setting. Because in Delhi, most of the heritage belongs or develop in a urban setting. So understanding of the urban setting and its relation with the heritage monuments is very important for the student of this course. 10 days of on-field training on the various monuments of Delhi was organized in May 2023 to understand structural conservation, the analysis of raw material used in the buildings, preparation of line drawing, status report, and on-site renovation and restoration of a monument. It enhanced the self-learning skill of the individual students as in on the on-site experience. And the students also often solve problems by researching and questioning themselves or among them teachers or with their trainers. It allows the students to evaluate what they have learned in the classes or at the university level. Other component which is very important for field training is heritage walk in the field of heritage studies. So at SHRM, heritage walks are the best way to learn and recognize our culture, tradition, philosophy, myth and associated ritual with the present scenario with present population. So these heritage walk make us look back and remind us of our rich culture and heritage, provoking us to think about the existence of every historical structure and place in its totality and existence in the present scenario. So on the occasion of World Heritage Day in April 2003, Heritage Walk was organized with the title Diverse Religious Monuments Around Kashmiri Gate that covers most of the famous monuments of Shahjahanabad, Chandni Chowk and Kashmiri Gate area, that is the campus of the Ambedkar University. Heritage Walk at the Mehroli Archaeological Park is very important because it is the largest archaeological park preserved and protected in not only in Delhi but also in India. First archaeological park was created there. Heritage Walk with the Souls of Martyrs 1857 trail at Mutiny Memorial and North Delhi Ridge was organized on the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav by the Ambedkar University under the flagship of SHRM. Then other important components of our field training is the visit to museums. As Delhi is not only the capital city of power, but it is also the capital city of museums. So we have large number of museums in Delhi. So as a museum education is very important because it is essential function of a museum is to collect object of heritage, since it is a custodian of heritage of a society or a country or a community or a particular locality. So some people, when they are visited museums, they are interested in learning about history, while others are interested in knowing where they are going or would like to enjoy culture and history according to their taste and knowledge. So museums are fantastic places to meet new people, learn about our ancestors and their lives, and broaden our horizon. The purpose of modern museum education is to collect, preserve, interpret, and display objects of artistic, cultural, or scientific significance for the study and teaching of the public and their awareness about the museums and their importance in the lives of the common people of India and at the globe level. For the students learning at museums, we organize various visits to the museums of Delhi. Few are listed here, like the Parliament Museum at Parliament premises in Delhi, Prime Minister Museum on the occasion of International Museum Day, National Museum, Delhi, Partition of India, 1947. A museum cum exhibition was organized at NG National Gallery of Modern Art on the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. National Science Center, Delhi, Purana Kila Archaeological Museum, which has a repository of antiquities and potteries associated with different period of Indian archaeology. Rail Museum, Delhi, and recently our student also visited and participated 3-day International Museum Expo at Pragati Maidan, which was organized for the first time in India. Besides this, another important feather in our cap is the celebrations. At SHRM, we started organizing World Heritage Day, International Museum Day, and Heritage Week. Heritage Week falls in the month of November. So in the month of November 2002, we organized a 1-week program on the occasion of Heritage Week. The theme of 2002 was Heritage and Climate. So to justify or in continuation of this legacy of heritage and climate at SHRM, we celebrated World Heritage Week by including various activities on heritage and climate by organizing lectures, filming a documentary, cultural events, and guided tours of heritage sites and workshops. A special lecture was organized on the archaeology of Northeast India, a study of Mizoram, which is the important because the site of Wangchia was excavated by Dr. Sujit Nayan, and he gave the first experience of the site, a site which was hidden till date in the forest area. So a combination of nature and heritage. So he gave first-hand experience and students learned many things through his experience and through his lecture. Second was the important thing, a documentary that is the mighty Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra is one of the longest river of India. And through this documentary, we came to know about the various tangible and intangible heritage associated with the flow of Brahmaputra, which is the perennial and eternal and sustain a large number of flora and fauna in the region of Northeast India. And this documentary was made and presented by the documentary maker, Dr. Bappa Ray. Heritage Walk with the Souls of Martyrs was organized in the area of Delhi Ridge, Northern, which is also known as Northern Ridge, in the premises of the old Delhi University and the surrounded by forest area. Again, nature and climate was there. Workshop on metal conservation and book discussions were also organized by our colleagues. So last component, not the last, but internship is very important for the students. So internship during the last summer, that is in 2002, was organized at different places for our students. That is the 4-week internship with National Rail Museum. Department of Archaeology, Government of NCT Delhi also gave opportunity for our students to work on the monuments of Delhi, and they work very hard and learn many things. In Tech, Delhi chapter also gave the first-hand lab training to our student as a program under the internship. NSS is very important part of the student activity where they learn about the community and their sense of belonging and responsibility about the community. So at SHRM, we organized various and participated in various activities such as NSS participated in the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav festivals organized by Ambedkar universities at different campus of university, Tranga Yatra and 15 August celebration. We also participated in Yamuna Cleaning Drive at Kudasiya Ghat. We also collected clothes for the poor people during winters and distributed them at JJ Colony, and field visit to Wagah border and Jaisalmer Mere border were memorable experience for our students when they learned about the border, the soldiers, and their role for the protection of India. Besides this, heritage tourism workshop and seminar was also organized to give the academic inputs to our students. So a national seminar on sustainable and ethical travel practices and prospect was organized, and workshop on academic and research writings were also given to our students to learn about the nuances of research, methodology, and their use in their teaching and learning.
Thank you very much, Seema, for those detailed discussion on some of the activities that we are doing at SHRM to give the aspiring student a bird's eye view that if you come to SHRM, that's the plethora of activities that you have other than regular classroom teaching. To tell us about their own experience at SHRM, I would now request a few of our students who are here. Rashi, can I first ask you to talk about your experience and maybe 2 or 3 things that you felt were unique at what you learned at SHRM? Over to Rashi.
Hello everyone, my name is Rashi Kareer and I was a student of Archaeology and Heritage Management at SHRM. And to begin with, I am really thankful to SHRM for providing me with the opportunity to be its student, and I had a really great learning experience. The course provides us with not only theoretical learning but practical experience and hands-on learning in archaeology and in conservation as well. So we had multiple programs designed for us and multiple events as well as training opportunities and seminars which helped us to get a better understanding of the field as well as of the field of archaeology and of the heritage and tourism fields. We got to participate in multiple events and we learned a lot there. And we had multiple visits to various monuments such as Humayun's Tomb, Purana Killa, Qutub Minar, Sundar Nursery, and series of workshops were also organized so that we could have a hands-on experience in terms of conservation as well. I myself was a part of, during my internship, I was part of conservation lab at INTAC where I had a chance to learn conservation ethics. Apart from that, in our final semester, we had an opportunity to be trained at Purana Killa during the excavation. The course made us apply the scholarly, theoretical, and scientific principles and concepts to various problems associated in the field. And in this, professors throughout the journey, professors have played a very crucial role. The classroom learning experience have been great. We always had a healthy interaction with the professors, a safe learning environment in classroom. We were able to freely express our ideas, our views, and we were, motivated to do the same. We were promoted by our dean and teachers to do what we felt like. In our 4th semester, we tried to create a placement cell as well, and ma'am supported us in the same. So I'm really thankful to them for making this course simple, interesting, and enjoyable, providing a holistic experience throughout these 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rashi, for that. I would actually want to say that Rashi has been very active in the placement training and placement cell that is part of SHRM. And there are a few things that we are working on, and hopefully it would yield certain results in the next few months. I will ask Ritvika, who did her master's in conservation, to share her thoughts, and if it is all right to switch on your video as well, if it is possible. Ritvika.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon, professors. I'm Ritvika, and I was and still am a student of conservation. So while my dear friend Rashi has covered almost everything, I would like to begin by saying that one of the first things that, not just conservation, but one of the first few things that were told to us before our course began was that prevention is better than cure. And this is one quote that is not just applicable to my course, which is conservation, but I feel this was applicable to everything, including life decisions and course decisions as well. In the last 2 years, yes, 2 years of our course, we've not just had theory, we've also had a lot of on-site experiences, which include visits to monuments, visits to a lot of museums. And since we are students of conservation, we were also given opportunities where we were taken to various conservation labs, which enhanced our work ethics, our not just work ethics, but we also learned a lot about working with professional people. So for example, the students of conservation were also involved in various internships in the Rail Museum and INTAC. So there we not just interacted with people from our own line, but we also interacted with proper professionals who gave us an insight. It all goes with. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Ritvika, for sharing that with us. We'll ask Dr. Ravindra Kumar to tell us a little about what is the value of these two master's programs in this contemporary times. Ravindraji, if you are here, Ravindraji is our senior most faculty at SHRM, and we will be deeply happy if Ravindraji would share why should students learn archaeology and conservation in the current times. Ravindraji.
Thank you, madam. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay. Just speak a little louder, Ravindraji.
Yes, madam. Let me increase just a moment. If I can increase the volume of the speaker. It is. Yes. Okay. Wanted me to speak on the value of two master's program in the contemporary times. Well, there are many things to say, but most of the things have been covered by the various, my colleagues. But I'll just very in nutshell, I'll divide the statement in two parts. One is the value of the program, and then value of the program in the contemporary times. The value of the two master's program is hidden in the course structure of the programs itself. These course structures are very unique. They are combination of traditions and assimilation of updated technologies. The study of Indian cultural heritage on the one hand, and on the other, the understanding and the incorporation of up-to-date techniques in the study of methods and theories in archaeology. Understanding the traditional belt heritages and implication of modern technologies and chemicals in the restoration and conservation of the belt heritage. Classroom teaching as well as the field-based studies. The teaching with multidisciplinary approach. Here I would like to emphasize that India is marching towards the new education policy program 2020, but we as SHRM or SYL DHRM, we had already incorporated these things much early by taking into various courses like heritage tourism and management, heritage museum and management, besides the study of archaeology and conservation studies. So these are the courses which give a value to the entire programs. And that is why these two programs are unique. And these two programs are not anywhere, they are not taught anywhere in India, in any of the universities. Likewise, the value of the program can be visualized through the demand of the student after they do their masters and their placements. Some of the students obviously opt for the higher studies and they go for PhD and join the universities for teaching. But there are many students who join and they're highly placed in organizations like Archaeological Survey of India, National Museum, Department of Archives, Department of Archaeology, INTAC, IGNCA, NGMA, Rail Museums, and other organizations of corporate world. There are many students, they are doing well in the corporate sectors also. The recent Museum Expo, as Seemaji talked, 2023 at the Pragati Maidan in May this year, exhibited the usefulness of the two programs. The presence of our own students, the Paldor students of erstwhile SHRM, now alumni of SHRM also. Their presence were felt very strongly. And these students, they were not holding the high positions in various organizations, but many of the students, they have started their own businesses by creating various equipments, providing consultancy to open new museums, and so on and so forth. By this, they're not only like making their own, but also they're providing jobs to others. And this is very fantastic. And that is how you can evaluate our courses. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ravindraji, for telling us not just why these programs are important theoretically and practically, but also the fact that learning these, our students can also be entrepreneurs and can, give jobs to others as well, which both you said as well as Shalini in her presentation also said. And now I actually would like Dr. Anand Bardhan, to say a few words on the Museum Expo, which is actually something that the Ministry of Culture, Government of India did for the first time, and SHRM was formally invited to participate at the Museum Expo. I'd like to hear a few words from Dr. Anand Bardhan, another faculty at SHRM, who participated very strongly at the Museum Expo.
Thank you very much, ma'am. With your guidance and inspiration, all of the students and faculty members, they participated in the first International Museum Expo that was organized by Ministry of Culture. And very importantly, the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Bhai Modi ji, was very keenly interested in this particular program. What makes it really very significant is that our students, almost 50 students participated there as volunteer, also as training, and they had an opportunity to interact with the people, the museum personnel who reached to participate in that great event, a gala event and a very spectacular event, where the masterpieces of Indian art were presented. And apart from that, the various technologies that we are using in museum field for the purpose of display and conservation, they were also well exhibited. The students also participated in the various seminars, symposiums and workshops which were integral part of the Great Museum Expo. It was it is a subject of appreciation that students won several prizes by participating in heritage quiz and different other competitions which were organized over there. I would like to tell you that organizations like Archaeological Survey of India, they had organized there a mega exhibition on excavation technology, how they are excavating the sites, how stratigraphic study is being done. So it was a, you can say, kind of demonstration, which was like a live demonstration, on where students were provided trenches to participate in that and use different tools. It was also a great opportunity to participate in the exhibition by a process of constant interactions with the leading laboratories of the country. There were exhibitions there by NRLC, National Gallery of Modern Art, and also from Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Museum of Mumbai. And so at every stall, at every they reached to every nook and corner, and they interacted with the personals who were representing their own exhibitions. It was also a great experience for them to listen to Pradhan Mantri Modi ji on Yuge Yugin Bharat and what kind of museum he is going to create in North Block and South Block, because from National Museum, all sculptures will be placed in the Museum of Yuge Yugin Bharat, and the 5,000 years history of India will be demonstrated there through holography, stereography, and all major techniques. Students had also an opportunity to see that what kind of lighting is being used, what kind of modern techniques are being used, because many of the service providers, whether they were national institutions, or they were national level laboratories, or they were from different companies, they all had exhibited some of the selected objects. And so students had a great opportunity to learn about modern museum techniques, also about archaeological techniques, and apart from that all about the conservation methods which are being practiced by our leading organizations. They volunteered there with Museums Association of India also, and they collected the printed material, promotional materials, which were being provided free of cost by National Science Center, national and state level museums. And one thing more, that there they had a feel that how India, despite of cultural diversity, is so integrated, because there were exhibitions from Arunachal, exhibitions were there from Mizoram, Manipur, Kashmir, Kerala, from all the states and union territories of our country. So it was absolutely a very, very wonderful experience, and it inspired them to choose this subject, heritage management, as a career. Thank you, ma'am, for giving me the opportunity and interacting with all of you. Thank you, Prashant sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anand. Finally, I would like to ask Tripti, who is our current student. Tripti, if you would switch on your video also, if it is possible. She's our second semester student, and is someone who would probably have got exposed to various of these activities that we are doing, to tell us a few words about how rocking is SHRM, Tripti.
Yes, so thank you so much, ma'am. Good afternoon, teachers, and hello to my dear friends. My name is Tripti, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in archaeology and heritage management. I'm a second semester student, and I'm here to share my experiences with you people. So speaking of the course in itself is extremely unique, as all the teachers have emphasized upon it. But from a student perspective, I'll also say that some of us are interested in so many things in today's day and age that we are still figuring things out. And what this program enables you to do is that you'll be taught museology, you'll be taught conservation, you'll be taught archaeology, heritage tourism, that you actually explore so much in these 2 years that maybe a completely new horizon of interest can lie in front of you, and you can make a much better and informed choice. So those are one of the things. And even for those who are extremely clear about what they want to do, we have a wonderful student-faculty relationship here, and the teachers are very much available there is so much ease in speaking to your professors, and I'm not kidding, but they're more like your friends. So be it choosing a research topic for your assignment, or getting source material, or not getting a particular journal in the library or particular issue, they'll help you out with anything and everything under the sun. So that is very great. We also have a research oriented approach to things, so that enables us in developing our own thought process very independently. So none of our ideas are ridiculed ever. Every little thing that we propose is heard with the utmost patience, and then we are guided about how can we go about these things. So that is great. And one of the questions that I had while joining such a course was that will we get to visit places? Bahar jayenge hum ya nahi? So that question, yes, we do get to visit places. We have a lot of workshops. We have training programs. Speaking from experience, our orientation started off with a visit to Mehrauli Archaeological Park itself. So over there, we saw a monument in person, and for the first time, we were asked that, what do you think are the problems? What do you think can be done? And the interaction was so open that we were extremely free to speak whatever we wanted to, and the teachers guided us alongside. One of the most important things in terms of be it archaeology or heritage management is on a personal level, I feel these courses make you a better person. I know it sounds like a very romanticized idea, but I'll just quote, like for instance, we had this 10-day training workshop with Department of Archaeology, Delhi government, in May. And we came back with so much more than just knowledge. When we saw all such senior scholars going out with us in this scorching heat every day for 10 days, telling us techniques, practices, how to apply lime water, how to value the labor that is working under you, and how to actually try to fit in their shoes, is when you learn that, okay, what is this field about? And with respect to heritage management, nothing bores me now. Because wherever I look, there's so much appreciation for color, for culture, and for every little thing, like from folklore to archaeological evidence, there is just so much. And any which ways, everything is interdisciplinary now. You cannot study anything in isolation, is what I believe. So that was there. And during our training with DOI, we were always also awarded with certificates, which is an additional in your CV. We also had this workshop on sustainable and ethical tourism, where we had a lot of speakers and panelists from different universities, hailing from different parts of India, and with their each and every specialization and suggestion helped us a lot in opening newer perspectives of thinking. So that's that. There are internship opportunities, like most of us are working at the Crafts Museum right now. And even if you want to conduct some personal research on a personal level, the department will help you. You'll get a letter of recommendation and everything, so you won't be bound. It entirely depends on you what you want to do. And speaking of Museum Expo, I don't think it's very hard to justify after what Anand sir has said, because he has said it all. And there's only one word for Museum Expo. It was surreal, and it was an experience none of us had ever expected. Being in that auditorium, looking at those artifacts, different parts of India, people are hailing. They have used technology, and they've used it to get down to grassroots level. They're futuristic, but have a perfect perspective of the past. So that was something which was so refreshing to watch. And then there was, so Museum Expo was stunning in one word, if I may. And there was a very interesting heritage walk in the lanes and by-lanes of Purani Delhi, which again told us the tale of Delhi, but in such an interestingly woven storytelling, narration that, and the best part was it was based in evidences. But it just felt like a long epic poem which is going on, and those 3-4 hours just felt like gone, and where have they gone? We didn't realize. But we came back with a lot. We've been to Akshardham, where we saw the sculptural details, iconographical details, and the intricacies of architecture, and how much does it justify the ancient models, and all of those questions, which made us question the things as well as appreciate things much more. And aesthetic appreciation is like a constant over here. And so, yes, there's a lot. But
I'm sure you want to say more, but I think we are running out of time. So we'll try. Thank you very much for
Thank you so much.
sharing your experience. I'd just like to say a few words before handing this over to Dr. Santosh Singh again, which is that clearly the things that we are trying to do, there is a way in which we are not looking at heritage as something which is ossified in the past, but we are actually interacting with heritage. We are living with heritage. And especially in a city like Delhi, heritage is all around us. And we are learning from it. And we are also appreciating it. But we are also trying to actually make it relevant for future generations. Together with these two MA programs, which are already on, we are starting a PhD program from the 2023 batch. We are also doing certain short programs, one of which is a 2-week heritage appreciation program called Living with Heritage for citizens in Delhi. We also want to introduce a course, a certificate course on heritage walk, hopefully towards the end of, by the end of this year. And we also would like to do certain specific workshops in our laboratory. The conservation laboratory, which Dr. R.K. Trivedi ji runs, is an extremely important place that we are really proud of at SHRM. And we are hoping that we will be able to do short workshops for not our heritage management students, but for other students of both AUD and outside. So these are some of the plans that we have in the future. But I want to thank on behalf of SHRM to Dean Student Services for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, Rukmini, and I think it was your team and you. I think it was a very comprehensive presentation, and the idea of asking the students to speak and talk about about the program and the experiences was a very very fresh idea. I think they are our brand ambassadors, and when they say something, it means a lot. It means the most actually. So with this, I think we need to conclude, and I will just say this much, that the Student Services Division is there always for you, for whatever help that you require. And for the students, I'm talking to the students, as I said, that this is the format. I'm telling that there are all kinds of enabling mechanisms available. Scholarships, a student welfare fund, and then you have merit scholarships. If you're joining our PhD program, there is, other than the UGC and NET, JRF, non-NET fellowship also is double than what other universities give. And also you have this special AUD MRF, AUD Merit Research Fellowship given to the top-ranking PhD students. I mean, these are the ways in which we are trying to kind of exist and also make sense in this changing world. And so therefore, my last thing would be to say that in case that you have anything to ask, any query, please feel free to write any one of us. It's very easy to communicate in Ambedkar University. You just have to write my name at aud.ac.in or Rukmini at aud.ac.in, or I'm sure Seema ji had Seema at aud.ac. And that's the format we have. It's easy. And also the last bit, that please definitely look at the web brochure that we have posted at our website. It has all the details, especially the last 10-15 pages particularly are all about various certificates and what all that you have to do during the admission, etc. Since we are interested in getting more students who are actually are interested in in learning and knowledge creation activities. In that sense, I think Ambedkar University should be the first choice if you are interested in heritage research and in management. And it's a very contemporary the manner in which Dean SHRM just introduced the school. I think it's good without saying that some of these things are not very prominently sort of expressed or articulated in our understanding of the career, etc. We have a very flat traditional way of looking at what all do we do with social sciences training. But this is, I think this SHRM is the example, for example, how you can try and mix sociology, history, and all of this together and weave it together in such a way that it becomes marketable in itself, I think. Yeah, there is, as I've been saying, Rukmini, in every other webinar, that if you are a bad engineer, there is no job. And if you are a good sociologist, then you have a job. So that's the point actually. Do anything with passion and with a sense of purpose. Obviously, market will emerge. I have to be good to be recognized and to be there, valued. So that's it. That applies everywhere. And so I think with these few notes, and I'm also very happy to see your colleagues, and all of them look so bright and smiling and look like a team, and that's very wonderful. I'm very happy to see all of you in one frame. All the very best to this school, and I'm hoping that the next bunch of students will be very excited to now looking at this webinar and this recording and talking to the teachers. I'm sure that we will have better crop next time.
Thank you very much for all your support. We've got support from student services always, together with, of course, support from all other university administrative authorities for SHRM to be what it is.
Yeah, I think this is our strength, isn't it? We have been like this always. And it does work for us that we are a team. It doesn't matter whether we are in SHRM or in SLS or in design school, whatever. I think we are part of a team. That team AOD, for example, I think that works like that. Yeah. So with that spirit, I think we will continue to dream and continue to work for it.
Absolutely.
Some of it will be realized, some of it will not. Somebody else will come and take that dream forward. But that is the way humanity evolves, isn't it? We must not stop dreaming. And so we are doing that exactly, and I will continue to dream. So thank you very much, Rukmini and the team, and everyone here. Individually, I would like to thank each one of you for your time. And I've been saying this everywhere. You say summer vacation is your time. I'm interrupting. So please excuse me for that. But thank you very much, everyone, for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.